The evening air had a small chill as I stepped out of my automobile, tightening the cuff of my blazer before moving toward the Grand Ember. It was a place I had chosen with care, a high-end restaurant situated in the heart of the city, famed for its ambiance, exquisite cuisine, and impeccable service. Tonight was meant to be a celebration, a gathering of warmth, love, and thanks. My wife, Sophia, had organized the supper with her family, assuring it would be unique. As I stepped through the magnificent doors, the rich aroma of gourmet cuisine filled the air. Beautiful jazz hummed through the speakers, and the lighting was dipped to just the right amount to radiate sophistication. Couples and families sat at neatly placed tables, clinking drinks and chatting in hushed, pleasant tones. My heart carried a familiar joy. There was nothing better than spending a memorable evening surrounded by loved ones. But then, my eyes rested on the table at the far end of the room. A sensation of uneasiness rolled over me as I took in the image before me. Sophia sat with her family, her mother, Lorraine, her father, Gerald, and her younger brother, Ryan. They were gathered together, laughing, glasses of wine practically emptied, dessert platters loaded with chocolate and cream. They were relaxed, enjoying themselves, too much, and I wasn't even at the table. I slowed my steps, my excitement vanishing into confusion. I checked my watch. I was perfectly on time. So why did it look like the meal had already transpired? For a moment, I thought they hadn't noticed me. But suddenly, Sophia glanced up, her expression unreadable. A smirk formed at the edge of her lips as she sat back in her seat, as if she had been waiting for me all along. "Oh, excellent timing," she added, waving casually, like I was some distant acquaintance, not her husband arriving at his own birthday dinner. Lorraine chuckled, as if sharing an inside joke with the others. I stepped closer, still trying to make sense of what I was witnessing. Why did it feel like I had walked in on something I wasn't meant to? The table was cluttered with empty plates, crumpled napkins, half-drained glasses of wine. I peered at the servers removing the dishes, confirming my greatest worry. They had already eaten. Did you all start without me?" I questioned, trying to keep my voice steady. Ryan, still chewing on a piece of cake, shrugged. "Yeah, we got hungry." I blinked. "Hungry?" I swallowed down the sting in my throat, my gaze turning to Sophia, hoping for an explanation. Instead, she stretched across the table with effortless grace and slid something toward me. A small, white slip. The check. Bewildered, I looked down at the bill, my eyes widening at the absurd total. "This is your present," Lorraine quipped, laughing, gently, as though this was some kind of family ritual I wasn't aware of. Gerald nodded, a smirk playing on his face. "Come on, it's only fair. You're the man of the house, aren't you?" Ryan snorted, barely holding back his amusement. "Consider it a mark of appreciation for your kindness." I felt my fingers tighten around the check, the pristine paper bending under my grip. They had gone ahead and eaten without me. They had celebrated without me. And then, as if that wasn't enough, they expected me to pay for all of it. I breathed, slowly, my pulse pounding against my temples. This was a joke. It had to be. No one would do something like this to their own family. But the arrogant expression smiling back at me told me otherwise. Something inside me broke. My fingers moved on, their own, grasping the check and shredding it clean in half. The harsh rip was the only sound in the stunned silence that followed. I let the pieces fall onto the table, my heart beating in my ears. Sophia's smirk faded, Gerald's brows raised in surprise. Lorraine scowled, evidently displeased. I pulled out my phone, my fingers moving rapidly over the screen as I made a call. The instant I hung up, I looked up and met Sophia's stare. She leaned forward slightly, her expression shifting from amusement to curiosity. "What did you just do?" I breathed, my voice calm. Too quiet. You'll find out soon enough. A silence settled over the table, the mood shifting like a storm, cloud rolling in. For the first time that night, I saw something flicker in their expressions, hesitation. And then, as if the cosmos had been waiting for this moment, the restaurant manager, Mr. Caldwell, approached our table. He was a tall man, precise in his motions, his fitted suit crisp and faultless. Surrounding him were two security guards. Their presence was undeniable. "Forgive me, sir," Mr. Caldwell began, his voice polite yet firm. "There seems to be an issue with the payment." I nodded, gesturing toward my wife and her family. "No difficulty at all," I said smoothly. "My wife's family here insisted on treating me tonight." Lorraine's mouth opened slightly, her eyes darting between me and the manager. "Wait, what?" she blurted. I folded my arms. "Because it only makes sense, right? You wouldn't invite someone out for their own birthday and make them pay, would you?" Gerald shifted, uncomfortable. Sophia's face stiffened. The restaurant manager remained polite but firm. "If no payment is provided, I'm afraid we'll have to take additional action." Silence. Ryan swallowed heavily, suddenly no longer amused. Lorraine turned to Sophia. "Fix this." Sophia's eyes narrowed at me, her former smirk now gone. "You're really doing this?" I met her stare without hesitation. "You already did." The tension at the table was suffocating. Gerald sighed. "Just pay the stupid bill." "No," Lorraine snapped. "This is insane. He's just being petty." The guards didn't budge. I stood up, buttoning my blazer. "If they refuse to pay, feel free to involve the authorities." And with that, I turned to leave. For once, I wasn't the one being made a fool of. For the first time in a long time, I wasn't the one left embarrassed. I stepped out into the cool night air, inhaling deeply, feeling an odd sense of relief. My phone buzzed. I pulled it out, staring at the screen. A message from Sophia. "Sophia, what the hell is wrong with you?" I let out a humorless chuckle, sliding my phone back into my pocket. I didn't reply. Tonight, I had finally sent a message of my own, pulled too tight. "No, we haven't," I said, my voice harder than I intended. "Since every time I bring up something true, you dismiss it. Every time I try to talk about our marriage, you roll your eyes because it's an annoyance." Her face hardened. "Maybe because you make everything such a huge deal. You're always too sensitive." I let out a dry laugh. "Oh, I'm sorry. Is expecting respect too sensitive for you? Is wanting my wife to truly give a damn too much?" She laid her glass down with a clink, crossing her arms. "You're being foolish." "No, Sophia. For once I'm not." I stepped closer, my pulse racing. "Tell me something. If I had done what you and your family did last night, if I had taken you out for your birthday, eaten without you, laughed in your face, and handed you the bill, would you have been okay with it?" Silence. Her lips parted slightly, but no words came out. "Would you?" I pressed. She swallowed, shifting her weight. "That's not the same thing." I shook my head. "No, it's exactly the same thing. The only difference is you and your family are so used to treating me like a joke that you thought I'd simply accept it, that I'd pay the bill and grin like a good little husband." Her eyes flashed. "You're twisting this into something it's not." "Am I?" I laughed bitterly. "Because I suppose, for once, I'm truly seeing things for what they truly are." She took up her wine glass again, swirling the liquid. "So what do you want me to do, huh? Plead for forgiveness? Cry over it?" "No," I said, my voice calm but forceful. "I want you to tell me the truth. Do you even love me, Sophia?" Her fingers clenched around the glass. 1 second, 2 seconds, and then she laughed. Not a true laugh, not the kind that comes from joy or amusement. No, this was harsh, cold, hateful. "Oh my God," she replied, shaking her head. You're serious. I clenched, my jaw. Answer me. She sighed, setting the glass down. Look, I care about you, all right? But love, you're making this way too dramatic. The words struck me harder than I imagined. So that's a no? She sighed loudly, clearly irritated. I don't know what you want from me. We're married. Isn't that enough? Not if I'm the only one who gives. A damn! She flung her hands up. So what now? You want a divorce? Is that what you're saying? I watched her carefully. The way she pronounced the term divorce like it was an empty threat, something I'd never dare to go through with. That's when I knew. She didn't think I would do it. She felt I was bluffing. And maybe a year ago, maybe 6 months ago, she would have been right. But not anymore. I breathed, my shoulders relaxing for the first time in a long time. I knew what I had to do. Yes, Sophia, I said, my voice calm. I think I do. Her smirk faltered just for a second. What are you saying? She asked, her voice softer now. I'm saying I'm done. The words left my mouth, and just like that, it felt like a weight had lifted from my chest. Sophia blinked. You're not serious. I am, I said simply. For the first time, I genuinely am. Her eyes narrowed. You're just trying to terrify me. I shook my head. No, Sophia, I'm just finally seeing things properly. Quiet stretched between us, dense and stifling. Then she scoffed. Great. If you want to take away our marriage over one foolish supper, be my guest. I smiled faintly. It was never just one dinner, Sophia, and we both know it. She stared at me for a long period, scanning my face for any sign of reluctance, but there wasn't any. For the first time in a long time, I knew exactly what I wanted, and it wasn't this marriage. Not anymore. I turned and walked away, heading upstairs. I didn't look back. I didn't need to. The moment I shut the bedroom door behind me, a strange sense of clarity descended over me. It wasn't relief, not yet, but something close to it, like being at the edge of a cliff and understanding you weren't terrified to jump anymore. I sat on the edge of the bed, staring at the floor, my mind racing. The words I had just shouted downstairs, I'm done, felt final. True. In a way I hadn't expected. But what did done actually mean? Was I really ready to end everything? Sophia and I had been married for 5 years. I had struggled for this. Relationship, disregarded things, made excuses, convinced myself that love meant enduring, that if I just tried hard enough, if I just continued pushing through, things would get better. But they never did. And now, here I was, finally confessing what I had known deep down for a long time. This marriage was over.